1, 2, ready, go. There's beauty in my brokenness. I got true love instead of pain. There's freedom, no, you captured me. I got joy instead of mourning. There's beauty in my brokenness. I got true love instead of pain. There's freedom, no, you captured me. I got joy instead of mourning. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. Come on, help me say, there's beauty in my brokenness. I got true love instead of pain. There's freedom, though you captured me. I got joy instead of mourning. There's beauty, say, there's beauty in my brokenness. I got true love instead of pain. There's freedom, though you captured me. I got joy instead of mourning. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. Oh, say, never been so free, caught in your love for me. Yeah. I've never been more secure, knowing your heart, Lord. Never been so free, caught in your love for me. Yeah. I've never been more secure, knowing your heart, Lord. Help me say, never been so free, caught in your love for me. I've never been more secure, knowing your heart, Lord. Never been so free, caught in your love for me. Never been more secure, knowing your 'cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. Let's do the bridge one more time, help us say, never been so free, caught in your love for me. Never been more secure, knowing your heart, Lord. Never been so free, caught in your love for me. Never been more secure, knowing your heart. You give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. And all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. And all it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. All the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah, yeah. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. And oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. And all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. Shadow you won't light up, say. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me.
Hey everybody, welcome to church this morning and glad that you are gathered with us. Remember, the church is not a building, it is a people. And so glad that we as the church are gathered to worship the Lord this morning. Welcome to Sacred, we're glad to have you here. I want everybody to put up two numbers right now in the chat window, which is, let's see, which way is it right now? This way? Okay, the chat window right here. And I want you to put up two numbers. The first number is from where you're watching, what day of quarantine or shelter in place, whatever one of those lockdown rules kind of thing you want to call it. Number one, what day are you on? What number? And then put a slash. And then the second number is how many rolls of toilet paper do you have left? We all know that we know exactly how many rolls we have left. Like that's right? Yes. Okay. I see those numbers. So it's been a little while for us. We finished up week 1 of shelter in place here in the Bay Area. We're doing really well. So, and we also currently have TP in our house. So we're good there. The other thing that I want you to do right now is to share the video. So if you can click on the share link and go ahead and put that out on your social media and let people know that they can join you in watching and commenting this time around, that would be great. We actually, if you share, want to send you a prize, like old-fashioned snail mail. I promise we won't lick the stamp. We'll use water to seal the envelopes. We actually want to send you a prize. So to get that prize, here's what you need to do. Number one, we're going to need your snail mail address. So Ben's going to put up in the comments the link for the online Connect card. So go ahead and fill that out so we have your snail mail address. The second thing is after you share, come back to the comment box and type shared. So then we'll know who to connect with the addresses, and we're going to get that out to you this week. So we're all kind of obsessed right now, right, in this world of where we are and where we're not. All the things we're allowed to do, the things we're not allowed to do. And if you are like me, you've probably spent more screen time on social media than you should for your own mental health and sanity. It's that fine balance, isn't it? Right? Between needing my extrovert interaction with other people and just overloading myself with a bunch of news and opinions I don't necessarily need to see. And one of the struggles with that is we can start playing that comparison game, right? So it's not just where I am and where I'm not, it's also who I am and who I'm not. And that can be a really dangerous situation to get ourselves into. And today, I actually want to read with you a passage that addresses some of those questions. So let's get into the Bible, you guys. This is in the Old Testament, the book of Psalms in chapter 15. If you have a paper Bible, most of the time, if you kind of hold it up and you open it halfway, you're probably going to end up in the book of Psalms, which is a book of songs. That's where it comes from. And we are actually in chapter 15 today. So this is a psalm written by a man named David, King David, if you've heard of him. And this is Psalm chapter 15. Who may worship in your sanctuary, Lord? Who may enter your presence on your holy hill? Those who lead blameless lives and do what is right, speaking the truth from sincere hearts. So far it's like blameless, not necessarily me. Speak truth, that I can do, right? Those who refuse to gossip, to harm their neighbors, to speak evil of their friends, those who despise flagrant sinners and honor the faithful followers of the Lord and keep their promises even when it hurts. That's a hard line to read. Those who lend money without charging interest and who cannot be bribed to lie about the innocent. And this last part of verse 5, such people will stand firm forever. So in the geography of the ancient world, where David would have been when he's writing this kind of concept from the first verse about your high holy place, your high holy hill, that is the site where they had the tabernacle, which was like this huge fancy tent, and then buildings as time went on, they changed it, it became more permanent. But that was the site where God was. Like it was a physical place, that is the building, that is the structure. And so there was a very specific geographical time and place element to being able to worship God in the ancient world. But even back then, they didn't use it just to say, like, you need to climb X point Y miles up the mountain in order to get close to God. They honestly still thought, like, you got to climb some mountain to get close to God. So there was a literal and a figurative meaning when they would talk about climbing the hill, who can go up the hill to be where God is. And so to them, God was like the ultimate insider, right? And they were all on the outside. Absolutely every single one of them was on the outside. They would have considered themselves like resident aliens. They had to seek permission to live among those who had tents and territory in that area. And so it's really interesting to feel like we're outsiders and we think that everything else is going on right now somewhere else, or there's somewhere else to be or someone else to be, and all of these things that we see around us. But the thing is, when David was writing this, he, as a person who is described as someone who's really close to God, is saying, how can I even get up there? Like, how could I even get close to God right now? Before I go any further, I'm not sure if this mic is picking him up, but I'm going to introduce you to someone who has to stay very close to me. Like, he insists on it. He must be very close to me at all times. Hold on. This is Macchiato. Macchiato is almost 15 years old. He is an ancient senior pug. And so he can't see, he can't hear, but he can smell mama. So he is at my feet right now. And so I promise, if you hear growling, that is not my stomach, okay? That's not what's going on. It's this guy, isn't it? Yeah. And he is down at my feet while I'm sharing with you guys this. Okay, so if you hear it, now you know. Now you know. You've met Macchiato. All right, so let's jump over to the New Testament. During Jesus' ministry on earth, Jesus had this conversation. Honestly, it was this mind-blowing, culture rule-defying conversation with a woman who was very much an outsider. She absolutely lived in tents on the outskirts at the permission and at the will of others. Jesus amazes her in the conversation, and then she seizes the opportunity and she starts asking some incredible questions. And I think it's going to help us connect this psalm and where David was at with ourselves today. Okay, so this is John, which is over in the New Testament, the second half of the Bible. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the first four books. This is John chapter 4, verse 19. Sir, the woman said, you must be a prophet. So tell me, why is it that Jews insist that Jerusalem is the only place of worship while we Samaritans claim it's here at the mountain where our ancestors worshipped? Jesus replied, believe me, dear woman, the time is coming when it will no longer matter, listen to this, whether you worship the Father on this mountain or in Jerusalem. You Samaritans know very little about the one who you worship, while we Jews have known all about him, for salvation is coming through the Jews. But the time is coming, indeed. This is such a good phrase to underline if you have a paper Bible. It's here now, when true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. The Father is looking for those who will worship him that way. For God is spirit, so those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. The woman said, I know the Messiah is coming, the one who's called Christ. When he comes, he'll explain everything to us. And Jesus told her, I am the Messiah. So this whole conversation about where we need to be, whether it's a geography thing or whether we're looking at it more metaphorically about, oh, God's up here and I am down here and I am the outsider and I don't know how to get inside. I don't know how to relate. All of these things, this what is the right way? Where's the right place to worship God? Sometimes we get so caught up in the where. And I love that Jesus reminds her, let's just focus on the here. See, invitation to a life with God is not random questions about who, where, and when. It is about you. It is about here. And it is about now. It doesn't matter if we're sitting in a sanctuary at 270 San Bruno Avenue West. It doesn't matter if you are sitting in your pajamas on your living room couch right now. See, Jesus said the time is coming. Indeed, it is here now when true worshipers will worship God in spirit and truth. I think this time stuck inside and in very limited manners, it can allow us to get negative, or we can choose to see things that are positive out of it and the lessons that we're able to learn and the ways they grow. So let's practice that for a second, because it's easier said than done. So I want us to actually do it. All right. So back to the comment thread. What is something that you've realized in the last number of days that you actually can do while you're staying at home that you never thought you could? Okay. What is something that you've realized that you can do that you never thought you could when staying at home? For instance, exactly how many meetings have we discovered really could have been emails after all? Praise Jesus. Just make it an email. It doesn't have to be a whole meeting, right? Totally like that. How many people's pets have you met that you never realized you'd meet the coworker? What about jobs and industries? Okay, I'm seeing the comments, right? Some interesting things we've learned about ourselves. The jobs and the industries that people said, well, you can't do that job at home. That could never be a work from home position. Right? We're learning a lot of things about what we're capable of. So we've got some good what and where discoveries. All right. So what about the who? Back to Psalm 15. Okay. The answer to the question who in this chapter, it starts talking about all these people who are blameless lives and these sound like amazing people, right? They don't give specific names. David doesn't do that. He doesn't give specific positions like, well, kings can do this, wealthy people who he starts giving some descriptions and generalities, and he sort of classes this out as a picture of a character of who would be righteous. Now, it's important to note that in his description, none of these things would have been new concepts to them, okay? In the ancient world, this wouldn't have been like, oh, we've never thought of that to be a good person. These were all characteristics that would have been in proverbial thought, like just good sayings, old wives' tale, kind of grandma said that, it was a good idea kind of thing. These are characteristics that appeared in multiple ancient religions' teachings as a way to be a good person. These were even things that appeared in their society's laws, and this was help describe right and wrong. So he's speaking very clear terms that they would have understood. But just because their laws and all of these different ways had helped them define right and wrong doesn't mean that that's the way he's taking it here. Because we have to remember, the book of Psalms is not written as a decree or history from the governor's office. This is written from an artist. This is written from the beat up, scratched in, scribbled over, write it a different way, songwriter's notebook. That's where this is being delivered from. So this is a song, and it became so well known and it was so well used in their worship communities that it became one of the classics. So classic that, it ended up in the book of Psalms in the Bible. And so I don't want you to think of this list that David is giving us as some sort of prescription, check these boxes. Instead, it's actually a picture of how in the world can anyone actually be accepted, into this invitation up to the high holy hill. How can any of us be invited into that situation, be worthy of being in the presence of God and who he is? And let me tell you, that woman we talked about in John 4, if you want to talk about checking boxes or not checking boxes, sister did not check any of the boxes. Like, none of the boxes in society as far as who would be of good repute or respected because of the situation and what other people had put her through. She wasn't checking any boxes. So you have Jesus appearing to this woman. And what did Jesus tell her? I'm the Messiah. In the book of John, it's the first time he says that to anybody. And I have to wonder what she thought. I mean, we know a bit of it. Like, it flipped her out. She went and started, like, shouting it to everyone and from the rooftops. Like, could this really be? There was still a questioning in her heart and a little bit of anxiety, but you can tell there was a trust and there was this communication that went on between she and Jesus. Have you ever thought that you weren't good enough to be close to God? Have you ever watched someone else in a video on Facebook or on a platform somewhere or on their Instagram feed and just thought, like, they can figure that out, but that's not for me. I can't do that. There's too much that's happened to me. There's too much I've done. There's too much going on. See, those opinions about our worth, those opinions about what's going on in our who are just as much an obstacle at times as the opinion between the Jews and the Samaritans and which hill they were going to worship on. And right now, we're feeling more stressed out. We are feeling overwhelmed. Like, raise your hand, put a thumbs up. Like, if you've been stressed out in the last week, if you felt overwhelmed in the last week, right? Okay. Hello. Yes. Yes. Okay. So if we keep watching someone else's highlight reel while we are feeling overwhelmed and broken by the current crisis and our circumstances, it is so easy for us to feel like there's this chaos and I can't compete. There's actually that same motif is in the Old Testament a lot, and it's called conflict with chaos. And it's repeatedly these stories over and over again of there's God, and then there's this chaotic thing going on. And it's how God's presence keeps something or someone from being shaken up or destroyed in all of the chaos. And over again, when it comes to the conflict between God and chaos, God reigns supreme. Continuous pictures of God versus everything falling apart. But did you hear that? It's not me against everything falling apart. It's not you against everything falling apart. It's God. So we actually get to step out of our chaos. We get to accept this invitation of, God, who can be in your presence? Who can step away from everything and all the circumstances going on around us and step up to where you are above all of the chaos? And when we recognize that invitation, honestly, if you've never experienced this, I want to talk with you more afterwards. You can DM me, we can chat, you can text the number that'll be up. You can actually feel the difference. You can feel the difference. This isn't just a fairy tale that's like, oh, that's warm fuzzies, that's nice, let's go to bed. Like, when you accept that invitation, there is a difference on my reality, that my life is now on a better, firmer foundation. And then I become better. Not because of what I did, but because of who God is. Later in the New Testament, a guy named Paul wrote to a church in Corinth. It's 1 Corinthians 1:30. And in the second part of the verse, he says, Jesus Christ made us right with God. He made us pure. He made us holy. He freed us from our sin. See, when I accept God's invitation by recognizing who Jesus truly is, that he's the Messiah, and what that means to my life, I get the benefit of his foundation. Because suddenly, in God the Father's eyes, I'm made clean. I'm made whole. And I'm made right with him. All of those things that Psalm 15 says about who can go up and connect with God, they suddenly apply to me. And then I actually want to live that way. It changes how I act. It changes the way I interact online. It changes what I say in my marriage. It changes how I respond to my kids, hopefully most of the time. It changes all of these things about us because I recognize that when I spend time in God's presence, I don't have to fight against the chaos because he's already won the battle. And at the end of the chapter in Psalm 15, I find out that there is this reward for simply showing up and accepting the invitation. Psalm 15 verse 5, such people will stand firm forever. Such people, says Psalm 15, is what the presence of God intends for us. And such people, says the verse in 1 Corinthians, is what the presence of God creates in us. See, today, you did not show up in the wrong place, at the wrong time, being the wrong person to have God overcome the chaos of your life. Jesus overcame the chaos and has issued you an invitation to be the right person right here, right now. What's at the bottom of every invitation, guys? What is it? RSVP. At the bottom of the invitation, at least every good invitation is an easy way to respond. So that's what I want to give you today. An easy way to respond. And it's simply saying, yeah. Okay, God. I accept the invitation to rise above all of this and to spend time in your presence and allow you to make me better. Because I'm not worthy on my own. None of us are. None of us. But when we understand that Jesus, a long time ago, died on a cross for us, that he rose from the dead for us, so that he could say, once and for all, the chaos can be defeated. The consequences of all of it, of all of the chaos we create by our own making or is created in our life, not by our own making, all of it can be defeated because Jesus chose to become a person, walk among us, and then take on the whole meaning of this. And we, when we accept that invitation, get to take on that righteousness. We get to take on that invitation to be with God and to be in his presence and know more about him and know more about ourselves, like we were learning in the last series, right? So I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to pray. It might feel weird if you're sitting in a room by yourself or in a room with your family or that kind of thing, but it's just a moment to let truth resonate in our hearts and to stay. So stay with me, okay? Don't skip away to some other preacher on some other line. Okay? Dear Jesus, thank you. Last week we talked about you being the calm in the storm, the calm in the chaos. And today we just continue to learn that the reason is because you've defeated the chaos. God, you have created us to be able to be in your presence, to feel that life-changing strength, to understand the power of who you are. So today we just humbly come before you and know that right here, right now, wherever we are, we don't have to be in a particular building or even on a particular mountain anymore. Jesus changed that. So right here, right now, make us right with you. We see that you are the Messiah. That means you're the Lord, you're the Savior. And we don't have to understand it all right at this moment, but we do have the ability to RSVP, to make a choice. Today I choose you. In Jesus' name, amen. Prayer is just a conversation, right? Like we can have in the chat thread, like we can have afterwards. So we're going to keep connecting online in all the different ways, and the announcements and the Facebook page is going to have more information, all of our different social media accounts. So if you have already liked the page, I want you to give me a thumbs up right now. Okay, or you can give me a heart. Give me a heart. If you've already liked the church page, you can also join the church group where you can share prayer requests and that kind of thing, and let us know what's going on in your life. If you have any physical needs, make sure you let us know about those right now, and we'll see if there's a way we can help or connect you with an agency in your area that can help. And remember, if you did share the video earlier, or if you're going to share it when we're done, you can still be able to do that because it'll post. Then make sure that you've commented shared in the comment thread there so we can see it. Okay, and then we need your SNAP address. So go to the digital connect card. Ben will put that up there again, and we have a gift to send you this week. So, Sacred, you are loved. Have a fantastic week or a fantastic day until we connect again online.